accountable to the country, to the committee, for all civilian harm mitigation, for executing our combat operations within the laws of armed conflict. We use all of our targeting capability with our collateral damage estimates. We do so within our planning processes, and then with our staff judge advocate force, which includes civilian and military. This is always front of mind.
Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that. If you need anything from us to make sure that you have the actual capacity you need to do this, please let us know, because this is a priority for the committee and has been in a bipartisan way.
Thank you, Congressman.
Yep. I actually want to follow up on something you said to my colleague, Mr. McGuire, and some of the things you said in SASC yesterday around sort of the use of AI and especially this kind of idea of the tactical swarming and cheap expendable munitions deployed in mass with AI tools. I want to ask in particular how that would work in the Taiwan Strait, for instance. So it's one of the most heavily trafficked civilian maritime corridors, commercial shipping, fishing fleets, et cetera, et cetera. And a strategy of mass AI-enabled low-cost autonomous kill capability deployed across that space, probably in the opening hours of a contingency likely. In your planning, how would you distinguish a PLA Navy amphibious assault vessel from a Taiwanese civilian fishing vessel or a commercial container ship in the AI-enabled targeting system that would command this?
The first, and I think this is, kind of the rules of unmanned and the rules of drone warfare is that you strive generally to not send a human being to do a dangerous thing that a machine can do.
Absolutely.
And number two, you never lose human accountability for taking lives in offensive operations or defensive operations. And I'm accountable. I'm the commander, and I'm accountable for that. So having human oversight over this operation, it's not necessarily a person in the loop, but is a person on the loop that can stop something. The assurance of packages before they go forward, maritime domain awareness, so that you do know, setting conditions ahead of the conflict with notices to mariners. These are all the wide range of measures that we take place to ensure that our actions are completely in accordance with the laws of armed conflict and wise strategically.
Well, thank you. Thank you both for your service. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Luttrell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral General, Mr. Secretary, thank you all and everyone else in the room warning you. Thank you for your service. I mean that wholeheartedly. The ultimate sacrifices that you and your family go through every single day. So God bless each and every one of you. Off-grid power generation, Admiral. Can we do a little bit deeper dive as far as we can go inside this current setting? I just want to make sure that in the NDAA or anything that's coming after that you are very well funded and that we're pushing the envelope hard enough for any kind of contingency that may populate in this AOR.
Yes, sir. This off-grid power generation, this is the deployable generators, all the things that deliver power so that we can execute all the joint functions. Critically important, a part of our sustainment. We've got to be thinking about all classes of supply, and energy supply is critically important within that. And I think that this is inherent within our plans. And so,
are we prepared to move in a shorter period of time? And are you in your I'm not going to ask if you have a warm and fuzzy, that would be weird, but are you inside your comfort zone of what currently exists? And I would guess, is the department moving?
I think first is that I'm not going to put a troop in harm's way without all the things that they need to be able to live and succeed and survive and sustain. And so I'm very comfortable that within our plans, our forces are well planned across all categories of supply, and we've got that ability to sustain. It's the resilience of it that I worry about, and I think we have to be restless and always working towards good solutions.
You mentioned I think you said low-cost hypersonic capabilities.
Yes, sir.
And doing my homework, and one of your major concerns is hypersonics.
That's right.
Are we in the right setting for? I want to ask you this question again in the next in the classified setting, but One of my major concerns is our capability in the hypersonic space and speed ratios, but
We're working with a number of innovative companies that have the capability to provide low-cost, seeker-enabled hypersonic weapons at a fraction of the cost of some of the programs of record. And we've got to take risk on this. We got to take risk in putting them on contracts so that they can scale. We have to take risk in this in giving them the authority to operate quickly. We'll be experimenting this summer with live fire on this.
okay. This is more of a request, sir. I think this kind of understanding of hypersonics and the importance of it is lost in translation inside this place. There's a few of us really paying attention to it. But as you as the subject matter expert, or the one that's on top of this, and everyone else engage with the members kind of in a deeper dive of why we should be focusing on this, if you would please, sir.
If your weapon travels at Mach 1 and you're actioning a moving target, or you're actioning a target that is fleeting, and that target is Mach 1, that sounds fast. Let's say that you're shooting that weapon at 1,200 miles. If you're moving at Mach 1, over the 2 hours, things on the battlefield there could change in the 2 hours that it takes a Mach 1 weapon to close 1,200 miles. If your weapon is traveling at Mach 10, then that 2 hours is compressed to 12 minutes. And that's the difference. It's the ability to see, understand, decide, act, and hit your enemy before your enemy can hit you.
I'm gonna borrow that one from you if you don't mind.
You've spent a life.
Claim that one as my own if you're okay with that.
You've spent a life shooting, moving, communicating. The faster you're moving, the faster you're shooting, and the faster your round hits home, the better. And speed is the advantage of the 21st century. Speed in compute, speed in decision making, speed of engagement.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair, I recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you all for being here. Agree with both what you said, Admiral Paparo, that your AOR is, quote, the defining strategic theater. What you said, Mr. No, in referencing the NDS, that we have to deter China through strength, and that you said we're doing everything we can. My concern, building on comments from colleagues, is that what's happening in the CENTCOM AOR is a direct undercutting of that ability to show our strength and then, in effect, deliver the deterrence we all agree that we need. In the first